Hallo zusammen, I'm your vlog Dave. Some of you might know that I'm a massive fan of Breaking Bad, El Camino and Better Call Saul, because I've mentioned that in a couple of live streams, I guess, and you know what? Yeah. Obvious is obvious. I've already made a video about Breaking Bad and, well, how to translate certain things to German, but being a German and having watched those shows, or respectively that movie, I've noticed a couple of things that are more or less typical German. So let's do that. Let's talk about the German aspects in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul and El Camino today. So, as I've said before, certain things are really obvious, of course, and let's start with those. You might recall the Germany-based company Madrigal Electromotive GmbH, which was introduced later in the show. It's basically responsible for distributions and, in terms of Lydia, also like getting some of the ingredients for the meth in regards to the Los Pollos Hermanos fast food store that's run by Gus Fring. The GmbH or GmbH at the end of this company name is the most common legal form of companies you can find in Germany, I'd say. The abbreviation stands for Gesellschaft mit beschränkter Haftung, which is sort of an equivalent to a limited liability company, without getting into too much detail here. It's based in Hannover, or Hanover as you might call it, which is spelled like this in English, but it's Hannover in German. It's the capital city of the German state Niedersachsen, Lower Saxony, which itself is widely associated as being an automobile state, since it's not only the origin and location of the VW company, VW as we call it in German, it also partially owns VW to this day. So the term Elektromotoren in Madrigal Elektromotoren GmbH, which is the German title of that company, the original one so to speak, really is the equivalent to Electromotive, so that really fits. The CEO of Madrigal's fast food division, Peter Schuler, was German as well, even though Peter, that's how we commonly verbalize that name in German, is a totally common German name for, well, middle-aged man, let's say. The surname Schuler isn't, or Schüler. It rather reminds of the German noun der Schüler, singular, die Schüler, plural, the student or pupil, which can be a surname in Germany, but it isn't overly common as such. Mr. Herzog, I don't even know what that name would be pronounced like in English, Herzog, I don't know. The actual owner and founder of Madrigal can only be seen once in the Breaking Bad conference scene, and, well, the name Herzog can refer to two things actually. It can be an ordinary German surname, but it also refers to a title of nobility. Der Herzog, singular, die Herzöge, plural, the Duke. One mysterious protagonist that appears in both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is the aforementioned Gustavo Fring. Even though nothing seems especially German about him, there is something. According to George Mestris, one of the show's producers, the surname Fring is derived from former German football or soccer professional player Thorsten Frings. The name was shortened to Fring so that they wouldn't have had to use an apostrophe in certain contexts. Mestris was a big fan of Thorsten Frings as a popular German football player, so he paid him a tribute in Breaking Bad. The character of Todd, on the other hand being a link between Breaking Bad and El Camino, next to Jesse Pinkman of course, belongs to a group of racist neo-Nazis, including his uncle and his friends. Nothing specifically German anymore, sadly, but yeah. Mike Ehrmantraut, one of my personal favorites, and probably also one of the most underrated characters in all these shows and movies, well, he actually carries a seemingly German part in his name as well, in a surname that is, which could be der Ehrenmann, singular, die Ehrenmänner, plural. It doesn't fit exactly, and I don't know, or I don't know, maybe it was intentionally put in there in a shortened and, well, changed way. But anyway, der Ehrenmann is used as a more colloquial German term referring to a man of honor. It's often used for really loyal friends or friends that did something really positive and beneficial to the group of friends they belong to. And for instance, German teens might refer to those people by simply titling them Ehrenmann, honor man, man of honor. They might also say that when a person they don't really know, like a person in the public eye, for instance, I don't know, an actor donated a big amount of money to charity, or someone else did a really, really great thing, universally acclaimed great thing, for instance, they might also refer to them as, well, Ehrenmann. And even though, to be quite honest with you, I don't think that this specifically was a really intentional, conscious decision that the producers made, it still fits the character of Mike, because he really, when you think about him, he really acts very loyal, whether it's to his family, of course, whether it's to Gus Fring, but also to Jimmy, aka Saul. He really is an Ehrenmann in a way. You can really rely on him, you know? Just call him Better Call Mike, you know? Would love to have a spin-off of that. Like, that would be awesome as well. Truth be told though, regarding all the characters in the shows and the movie, it can't get more German than Werner Ziegler, in a way. Werner Ziegler, I guess, is the English pronunciation of his name, but it's Werner Ziegler in German. He is some kind of a Bauingenieur, der Bauingenieur, singular, die Bauingenieure, plural. They are supposed to erect and construct the secret high-tech drug lab that's frequently used in Breaking Bad, without really knowing what's going on. The name Werner Ziegler is almost a prototypical German type of name for a, older or middle-aged man. That is because Werner has been a really, really popular German boy's name for many decades, even though boys that are born today, nowadays, and even dating back to the 90s and 80s wouldn't be named Werner anymore. It's an outdated name nowadays, but it was really common and popular as a German boy's name up until, I guess, the 1960s, maybe even the 70s, and I'd say in that sense it totally fits the age of Werner Ziegler in Better Call Saul. So macht man das. In certain shots in that context, we can also see German football jerseys being worn with Germany's national colors, black, red and gold. I guess Werner and his guys being German construction engineers not only has to do with the fact that Madrigal is a German company, but also with that, well, German engineering is widely considered one, if not the best and most accurate in the world.
Guten Abend.
I mean, you know, Gus Fring wants quality, so yeah, hire some Germans. In Better Call Saul, Kim Wexler later drives an Audi A8, Audi A8, which is one of the most successful and popular German car manufacturers. It belongs to the VW Group, which is not only another German car company, but yeah, it's also the biggest car manufacturer in the world, yeah, to date. Other car brands that belong to the VW Group include Porsche, or Lamborghini. Switching a little bit away from Better Call Saul to Breaking Bad now, even though he also appears in Better Call Saul, which I really love by the way, we all know about Hank's second passion next to working for the DEA, the Stones. I mean minerals, of course, but I'm actually talking about brewing beer. Funny enough, not only does the English term beer have a slightly auditive, like a phonetic similarity to das Bier in German, but it's especially the prefix Bräu in Schrader-Bräu, which is, well, typically German in a way. It's das Bräu, the brew. I guess it's even used more often as das Gebräu, the brewed liquid, which can also have a negative connotation to it. For instance, I don't know, when you think about the soup which is boiling, you might call that stinking brewed liquid type of thing das Gebräu. Das Gebräu. Blech. Bräu is also a common term in Austrian German. And by the way, if you like to find out how sometimes changing an article of a noun can lead to things becoming a form of alcohol, all of a sudden, check out the video linked in the end card. Apart from that aspect alone, the surname Schrader strongly resembles the German name Schröder, but it also exists as Schrader in Germany. I guess you probably have recognized the song on the VHS tape Hank is playing when Walt visits him in his bedroom. Of course, it's Major Tom. And of course, it's a classic. But even though Gale sings the English version, it's actually a German song. The original German version is also called Major Tom, and both versions were written and performed by the NDH musician Peter Schilling. When you think about it, it's actually a similar case to 99 Red Balloons by Nena. Her original German version, 99 Luftballons, became such a massive hit in the 80s that she also recorded an English international version, which also became a hit. The lyrics to both versions of Major Tom refer to the same context, an astronaut in space being faced with severe difficulties that could lead to his death in a way, and in some abstract way, this also relates to Gale's situation in the show. Walt didn't want him as a colleague of sorts, and he is considered a problematic factor in all that, and therefore, gets killed. Of course, we also need to talk about Heisenberg. Some of you might have guessed that already. This name has a very German ring to it. And indeed, it was the surname of German physicist Werner Heisenberg. And by the way, Heisenberg is the German way of verbalizing that name, pronouncing that, who lived from 1901 to 1976. He is widely considered one of the most influential and important scientists of the 20th century, also with having received the Nobel Prize for his research in quantum mechanics in 1933. And maybe it's just me, but looking at this 1933 photo of Heisenberg, he really resembles a younger version of Walter White, aka Bryan Cranston a little bit, don't you think? I don't know. And talking about chemistry and physics, the periodic system that can be seen in the show's intro is Das Periodensystem. Interestingly enough, it was created by two separate scientists who didn't actually know about each other back then. One of them was the Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev, and the other one, you guessed it, was a German scientist called Lothar Meyer. This took place in 1869. As you might have guessed, quite a few of these chemical elements were either discovered or really artificially made by German scientists. Because we can. The chemical element Br, which stands for brom, bromine, it's not a mindful of bros, I'm sorry, was unknowingly extracted by the German chemist Justus von Liebig in 1824, before the French chemist Antoine Jérôme Ballard found out about this element in 1826. Ba, the second element representing bad in the intro, is barium. It was first discovered and described by German-Swedish chemist and pharmacist Carl Wilhelm Scheele in 1774. Certain chemical elements like number 110, Darmstadium, even have German names or are directly related to German scientists who created them. Artificially, that is. This name right here refers to the German city of Darmstadt, another really subtle German influence, if you will, if you've watched the awesome German Netflix production Dark, which I've also made a video about, check it out in the end card. You might have been, as surprised as I was when you saw this scene in Breaking Bad. The song that's playing here is the intro music to Dark, and in fact it's a track called Goodbye by the German electro musician Apparat. Extremely fitting title as well when you think about it, since here the show, says goodbye to Gus Fring and Hector Salamanca only a few moments later. In an extremely cool way, by the way. Great atmospheric song, the more you know. One last thing that I would like to point out, even though it doesn't have something specifically to do with the plot or the setting of the shows and the movie, but something that needs to be addressed, in my opinion, is the German voice dubbing, which is of such a high quality in all these things, it's unbelievable. And I can really recommend watching that show in German if you want to practice your German listening skills and you've already watched those shows or that movie before, of course. It is really good. Like, all the voice actors are really, really delivering a believable performance and just soothing voices that really fit the characters. Germany, as you might know, is really big on and really popular, really great at delivering great voice acting. Probably the best in the world regarding that industry as well. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased, because, I'm a German. We have so many talented and great voice actors. And yeah, feel free to watch it in German if you want to. It's really worth it. I might have missed a couple of other really German things, but those were the ones that came to mind immediately. If you know more, like something that struck you to be very, German in a way, in the show, or shows and the movie, feel free to tell me in the comments. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to share this with other like-minded people that really enjoy Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and maybe even want to learn a little bit of German or are interested in the German language and life in Germany, the German culture and whatnot. Feel free to do that. It really helps immensely. Thank you so much for doing that in advance. Greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching as well. I'm your Vlog Dave. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.